professor at Franciscan University of Steubenville is providing groundbreaking research into abortion. Dr. Stephen Sammut examines abortion from a purely physiological level. His results on an animal model showed depression, anxiety, life behaviors, and long-term cellular consequences. He also examined the reality of abortion pill reversal, showing that the abortion was reversed in more than 80% of the animals. And Dr. Stephen Sammut joins us now. He is a behavioral neuroscientist and professor of psychology at Franciscan University of Steubenville and the principal investigator and head of his research laboratory doing first-of-its-kind pro-life research. Dr. Sammut, great to be with you, and thank you for all that you're doing for life. First, tell us what compelled you to do this type of research and what makes your lab different from others that study abortion.
The major reason that compelled me to start this research was the fact that this question had not been answered. We have been administering the abortion pill for many years, yet the preclinical research that was necessary, that is usually done also in any situation, was not done. All research prior to mine focused on the efficacy of the abortion pill in inducing abortion. My question was, well, what does it do to the female that it is consuming this pill and inducing the pregnancy termination? And that is an aspect that had not been investigated at the preclinical level, so I sought to address that question.
Yeah, and we mentioned briefly that your findings that abortion leads to depression and anxiety-like behaviors. We've heard that before, and also long-term cellular consequences. Talk to us more about that, and was there anything in your findings that even surprised you?
The depression and the anxiety-like behaviors were not really surprising. Let's put it that way. And the reason for that is we know that pregnancy is a natural process. We know it's a symbiotic relationship. And we know the amount of work that the body goes into in order to prepare the body of the female for the pregnancy. Therefore, when you mess around with the body and terminate a pregnancy process that is natural and is viable, you would expect some negative consequences, exactly what they were going to be. Fine, I was not exactly expecting to see what I actually saw, in the sense that it needed to be tested. This is an aspect that needed to be tested. However, we have the human evidence, the clinical evidence that talks to us with regards to the depression, anxiety, increased suicidality, drug abuse, and all of this. So there was that precedent, there was that background to go on. Therefore, my hypothesis, my thinking was that if we messed around with a pregnancy, what we would see is some sort of change in the body that could potentially lead to anxiety and depression-like behaviors. Did I expect it? Well, I let the experiments talk for themselves. The other aspect pertaining to the fact that it's in an animal and that is important is also the fact that this is independent of social pressure and religious influence. Yes, I work at Franciscan University, but it doesn't matter how much holy water and sitting there reading the Bible won't make any difference to the rats. They are going to behave in the way they behave. It's a purely physiological response.
And I was going to ask you that, Doctor, the importance of research and of science, and not just talking to people about their experience. Why is that important? Tell us more about that.
Well, if we approach it, at least from a Catholic perspective, Christian perspective, we know that God created the universe and God does not contradict himself. Therefore, what science and our faith says ultimately should not really contradict themselves. Now, when you are going to do an experiment, you keep that at the back of your mind, that you do not seek to influence your experiment. You let the experiment talk for itself. However, it is important, I think, for Christians and Catholics to understand that science does support the reality of the truth that we are taught with regards to the life that is in existence in the womb prior to birth. And it is a life. It is not just a lump of cells. After all, the regulations for the ethical treatment of animals also discusses the pre-born animal as an animal. Therefore, if an animal is an animal in utero before it's born, then why is a human not a human in utero?
Oh, Dr. Stephen Sammut, thank you so much for joining us and talking to us about this and for the research that you're doing. We really appreciate it, and God bless you and God bless your work.
Thank you so much.